Yes, people, myself TS, welcome back to another No Filter TS. In this one, just talking about one player I would take from each Premier League team, based on the Premier League from last season. Obviously, in my previous video, I spoke about one player I would take from each other club that finished within the top six. And for this one, I'm just going to do the remainder of the league. So, starting off, West Ham, who finished seventh. I think, the main man over there would be Declan Rice, and I think he would come in at Arsenal and do a fantastic job in the midfield. And if there was just one player from that side I would take, it would be him. The likes of Bowen's had a really good season for West Ham as well, but for me, Declan Rice just pips him to that spot. Next team. After that finish after West Ham, Leicester, Arsenal linked heavily with Tielemans, but for me it would be Maddison. Last summer the kind of talk was between Maddison and Odegaard. I think Maddison's still gone on to have a really good season, and again I think you'd do a top quality job in our midfield as well. Following Leicester was Brighton. And for me, Brighton, I've got a couple of options. Basuma, who's heavily linked, and basically on a he wants to move on, and you couldn't really knock him for it. It'd be between him and Cucurella. I think Cucurella's had a really good season. I personally would just pick Basuma just because I think that central midfield position at Arsenal's been something that's really needed strengthening over the years. We got part of the job done with Partey, but we need to get the job finished off. And if there was one particular player I'd pick from this team, from Brighton, it'd be Basuma. Moving on to Wolves, and for me it'd be Neto. I was thinking about Ruben Neves, but I think Neto's is a top quality player, and I think he would do wonders in the Arsenal attack. Following Wolves is Newcastle, and the player I'd pick was someone who was linked to all January, which was Bruno Guimaraes. He ended up basically scoring a goal which kind of dented our top four hopes. And looking at how he's coming at Newcastle, some would say yes, it's a weaker side and stuff, but he's really the top quality and kind of proving a point as to why we should have spent the money and got him. Following Newcastle's Crystal Palace. Now, someone like Conor Gallagher did really well on loan at Palace, but obviously again he's on loan from Chelsea, so I didn't bring him into this. But a guy I'll definitely take from Palace is Elise. I think he's been top quality, and Palace are gonna have some work in their hands to keep hold of him over the next couple of seasons, and he'd definitely be a man I'd be taken from Palace to bring to Arsenal in a heartbeat if given the opportunity. Moving on to Brentford, and for me it'd be Ivan Toney. I think he would actually do wonders in our attack. Yes, he might not be the most appealing name. Like you hear names like Darwin Núñez, Jonathan David, Gabriel Jesus, etc. I think Toney would do a good job in the attack. And bearing in mind, at the time of me recording this, the only strikers notably that we have is Nketiah and Balogun. So for me, I think Toney would be a good move for Arsenal to go in and get. Going on to Aston Villa, obviously recently signed Coutinho on a permanent deal, but for me, if I was to take anyone from their side, it would actually be Jacob Ramsey. I think he's pushed on a lot in the last 12 months or so, really get into a lot of goal scoring positions and become a real good goal scoring midfielder, and I expect him to push on more next season again. And there's a lot of potential the lad has, and we just look forward to seeing how his progression comes along over the coming years. Going on to Southampton. Now, I think the main man everyone talks about at Southampton is, James Ward-Prowse, as they call him, dead ball specialist. Free kicks are kind of like penalties for him. He seems to be so accurate from free kicks, and I would pick James Ward-Prowse. I think again mainly on this reason. I think another man that has to come close to even get a shout out is Salisu. I've seen him play quite a few times across the season, and he looks like a really good defender. And um, again, this might be a man that they're gonna have to watch how they manage to hold on to him over the next couple of seasons. If his next season is as good as the last season. Team that finished in 16th place, Everton. And I'd have to go with Dominic Lewin, although I'm not too sure about all this, fashion up stuff he's doing at the moment. But truth be told, I think he's a top quality player. A bit concerned about his injury record. At times he seems to get injured a bit, but I think if you sign him and he's banging 20 goals a season, he wouldn't really care about what he's doing fashion wise outside of the football. You'd just be like, okay, as long as you're performing on the pitch. And I think he again would be a target man sort of forward for Arsenal. Now get myself right, moving on to Leeds, who finished in 17th place. I'd go for Rafinha. Obviously Calvin Phillips is top quality midfielder, but I think Rafinha would bring something. He'd be definitely a top attacking threat, and he would cause a lot of defensive issues, and he's done that during his time in the Premier League, and I think it would be beneficial to have an attacker like that at the club. If I had to pick one particular player from Leeds United, and then moving on to the teams that are relegated, Burnley, I'd go with Cornet. I mentioned it in a video the other week about how Arsenal strengthened the squad this summer, and if Arsenal can't go out there and bag a top winger, I would actually take someone like Cornet. I think it'd be a decent backup, to the likes of a Martinelli, Smith Rowe, predominantly on that left hand side. And then moving on to Watford, 19th place, another player which I mentioned in that video, which is Ismail Assar. Again, similar sort of reason. If they're not able to go out there and sign a top quality winger, I think this is a guy that would do well in the attacking positions for us. And the drop off in level between our current players and him wouldn't be far, or wouldn't be much difference at all. I definitely think he's a top quality winger as well. And then lastly, Norwich, bottom of the table, Norwich, and it's another player I mentioned in that video, which would be Max Aarons. I think young right back. Again, I mentioned about Tomiyasu in a previous video, where was out for quite a bit of the season, with this calf injury, and I think Aarons would be a suitable rotational option for us, and it'd be good progression for him as well. So I would definitely take Max Aarons as someone to come and fight for that right back spot at Arsenal. And again, everything I speak about is just my opinion, me giving my thoughts, and everyone's got their thoughts on what they want to say, and whatever your thoughts are on what I have to say, I'll be willing to hear it in the comment section below. So yeah, man, like I just mentioned, let me know who you would take from each team in the comment section below. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 300 subscribers by the end of the month. And yeah, man, thank you for all the support. Peace, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bless.